All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Life Talk, where we discuss real life issues and provide practical solutions. Today, I have with me as a team of the Real Life panel, the foreign individuals, Mr. Uh, Hector Gonti. Mr. Hector Towa Gonti, you are welcome to the show. And Chairman Andrew Dean. So, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking up your time to provide basic information when it comes to our discussion here tonight. My name is Paul Dominic Jarrett Jr. If you are just joining us, this is the Real Life Talk where we discuss real life issues pertaining human life, pertaining to growth and development of individuals in Liberia, practical issues, vote of politics. We want to first of all hear from our team members tonight. Then we will introduce you to our agenda of discussion for tonight. So the first thing, let me hear from Mr. Hector Tawagonti. Uh, what's your own impression of the show tonight? You think? How are
Mr.
you?
Jared, are you
How
am I
can you hear me?
audible? I'm hearing
Yes,
you
go
loud
ahead.
and clear from my end. Are you also getting me?
Tonight being the first night of the show, we are about to begin our discussion. Though we've had some discussions over the time, but we've been having some technical issues, and we have been apologizing to our followers on our Facebook page. So tonight we are live. What's your feeling like? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, actually, it's indeed a pleasure to be back after surviving several challenges as it relates to our appearance on this unique platform. And it's indeed a great joy to be back, and I'm happy to be here once again.
All right, thank you. So, Chairman Dean, what's your feel? How do you see being live tonight that we have had after several weeks of challenges with our network and other technical faults or issues? How do you see it tonight? Chairman Dean, you can, if you are hearing me, you can unmute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Jari. I'm hearing you now. Thank you so much. It is a fantastic thing to be online right now to discuss issues surrounding our country, mostly for politics, because most times this intellectual forum is grounded in politics, but it's good to have a show dedicated to having conversations around things that don't involve politics, social aspect of life, education, career, health, other important conversations that sometimes is swept under the rug because of the trending political things going on in the country. So it is a good thing to be here, and I hope to share my experiences and expertise with our audience and to ensure that we have a wonderful time. Thank you, Mr. Jared.
So that was the voice of Mr. Andrew Dean, who happens to be one of our panelists for tonight again. It appears that Mr. Jared is facing some technical issues, so we don't have time again our favor, so we will continue from where he stopped uh, with tonight's program. So, Mr. Andrew Dean, is indeed a pleasure once again to be here. So, while we are with Mr. Jared, uh, I think we can continue from where we stopped the other day. So this time around, you from the paramedical and that of the art background, specifically sociology, uh, what are some opportunities? What are some opportunities that can be given to an individual desiring to specialize in these areas? What are some opportunities uh, we expect? Wow, we are facing some technical issue once again. Mr. Dean has left. Mr. Jerry is also gone. We keep going on. So uh, I will just begin with myself since I represent the field of environmental science or from a broader perspective, the earth sciences. Let's firstly bring to your attention the broader understanding of the field of environmental science. When one hear about environmental science, there are two words that usually come to them. That has to do with the environment and that of science. So science, as you may be aware, is a systematic approach in identifying problems and finding solutions. Science can also be defined as the systematic study through which problems are identified and solutions are provided through various procedures from the background of science referred to as a scientific method. And environment, whenever you hear about environment, what comes to your mind is everything that surrounds us. That has to do with the atmosphere, the biosphere, the lithosphere, and you can go and name the rest. So combining the two words, environmental science can simply be defined as the systematic study of the environment. This is a branch or a field within science that provide us the opportunity to identify environmental issues and find amicable solutions or mitigatory strategy in reducing or preventing environmental problems such as pollution, degradation, etc., and etc. So when you hear about finding solutions to problems that affect our environment, like pollution to our water, this is where environmental science comes in. Environmental science, as a field of study, uh, give one the insight to identify problems that relates to our home, the earth, or the environment, and finding solution to these problems. So there are so many opportunities, so many opportunities. But before going further to provide some of those opportunities that can be afforded an individual studying environmental science, let's rejoin Mr. Andrew Dean, who has managed again to reconnect with us. So, Mr. Dean, we are happy to have you back. So, there's a question. What are some of the opportunities that come one way when he or she specializes in the area of paramedical uh, and that of sociology? Our audience is listening, our people are viewing, and they want to know what are some of those opportunities, occupational opportunity, job opportunity that can be afforded an individual when specialized in a paramedical or sociology.
Okay, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Sorry for the break-in connection. I think I had a drop in my internet connections. Thank you for the conversation I've been following. First, let me start by saying A lot of people, from our last conversation the other day, I used to say a lot of people in Liberia, a lot of young people, because of our economic situation, we tend to focus on a job than a career, and it's understandable when you have a economic situation that don't favor the youth. So sometimes our primary or our immediate focus is on a job rather than a career. So we thought that this first section we can actually speak to our young people, our audience, so we have a clear difference between what a job and what a career is. Then we can tell you the opportunities that you hope to achieve in it. So you're a young person and you have to come and you happen to come across this conversation. A career is a long time professional choice that you grow to love and become a part of you. While a job is a temporary income, something that you do to get a paycheck from month in, month out, or weeks in, weeks out. However, there are a lot of people who goes into job not hoping to get a career out of that job, just hoping to get a paycheck. So I always tell my young people that look, yeah, you can from time to time take a job to get the paycheck, but you always want a career. And no matter what the economic situation or the situation, you always focus on the long run, which is the career. So coming from the social science background, I would like to talk on two major things: sociology and psychology. Now, if you are out there, I'm gonna be a little biased because I'm opting for my listener who want to dive in a career, somebody who's just graduating high school and all like that, go to the go and do psychology. The reason is because in Liberia we have a lot of sociologists, uh, but we have few psychologists. Now, I'm from both sides, so like I say, even though I'm deeply now into psychologists, I'm going to be a little bit biased, but we have a lot of sociologists across Liberia, and I'll give you a few of the opportunities that comes along with it. Now, as a sociologist, you have the opportunity to work in various profession, right? You can work in hospitals, you can work at schools, you can work in of public institution like um, health related, finance related. So, I mean, it's diverse because as sociology, you studied society as a whole, and society is built on several institutions, the family. So, sociology sometimes serve as social worker to give support to families. And so you get the opportunity to work in NGOs that focus on family. You can work in NGOs that are all government institution, public institutions that focus on family, like Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Health. These institutions that focus directly on family, you can also work with them. uh, it also focus on sociology. Also, deal as an institution deals with politics. So you see, sociologists who become very good politicians because they tell you that they understand society and the family and politics. You also have sociologists who dive into education in helping to improve educational system, and they work in all of these places. However, I want to focus on psychology. And like I said, I'm being biased because obviously I'm a clinical psychologist by profession. And I also head the psychology department at the University of Liberia. So I'm going to be a little bit biased with that. But somebody out there might ask, why psychology now? I gave you a brief history before I can turn over to Mr. Gondi. Liberia, uh, over the past 2 decades ago, prior to 2 decades ago, Liberia only had one psychiatrist, uh, Prof. Harris, alone all through. And then later, around about 2013, we had Dr. Moses Zia, who is currently now the head of the mental health unit at the Ministry of Health, becoming the second psychiatrist in Liberia. So
Okay.
it tells you that we have a whole gap as it relates to mental health professionals in our country. And from since 2013 to now, I give you a little brief history on that again, or statistic. Currently, Liberia have a little over 10 psychiatrists in the country for a country of 5 million population. Clinical psychologists, we have fewer than 10. Psychologists, we have fewer than 20 for a population of 5 million people. Now, even if we're giving one psychiatrist to all of the counties and also giving one clinical psychologist or psychologist around, we might still be short on it. Carter Center, Liberia have helped us a lot to provide several training for mental health clinician, but the ratio is still there. So, as
Uh,
somebody
uh,
who's thinking about
hello,
getting,
hello, Mr. Dean. Sorry that I'll have to hold you there because we have a specific target tonight. I
okay,
appreciate the conversation and all of your brilliant contribution. So before I had to give you longer time because we are yet to be joined by other panelists. But to achieve our target for tonight, let's go this way. How is your field of study relevant to solving the many social problems today? All over the street, we have our brothers and sisters that have been named Zogos and Zogis due to mental disorder. So, someone specializing in sociology and psychology, how is it relevant to solving these social problems today?
so sociologists can help anyone who's facing mental health problems. So let me just make that first. Psychologists can, on the other hand. So like just before you wanted to make the adjustment, I just thought to give our audience a brief uh description before getting into the real thing, so there can be a connection. Because
Okay,
before somebody want to get into a field, they want to first understand what's the benefit of that field, what's the relevance of that field, and then before they can try to think about the help they can provide, especially in Liberia. Because the first thing is,
okay,
how can I get a paycheck? So I want my audience to first understand that looking at our current situation in Liberia, the need for trained mental health professionals cannot be overemphasized. It's needed because we have so much gap as it relates to patient treatment and mental health professionals available. Now, that being said, uh, somebody who's thinking about getting in this career will be wondering, but if I get into this career, how, what do I benefit? Where can I work? How can I impact society? Someone getting into becoming a mental health professional, like a psychologist, you have in fact, you have a wide range of opportunities being provided to you. Primarily, you can work in the hospital settings. You can work with a psychiatrist who is the doctor, and you can work with the doctor to assist therapeutically with people who have mental disorder. So there are two ways to treat them. One is through medication, and the second one is through therapy. That's where you come in. So the doctors usually work with the medicine, and you do the therapeutic aspect. So the hospital setting is your primary focus. That's where you got to be. However, it's not limited to the hospital alone. Now, when you look at our curriculum in Liberia, we have been working to revise and introduce mental health training or courses within the high school curriculum. You
okay,
need psychologists in all high schools and elementary and high school in high schools in Liberia, because individuals who go to these schools, children who go to these schools, might be facing some psychological problem during that developmental stage. When it is easily detected, there are help that can be provided in coping mechanism for that individual not to get to the stage where we see them in the street, like we usually see. We say, quote unquote, we refer it in our local language, which is not accepted. People crazy. No, they are mentally ill. So we need psychologists in high schools where they can be able to help students who have psychological issues who's facing family problems that might be affecting their mental health. So you can also work there. We also need them in tertiary care education, like the universities. The University of Liberia, for example, have a counseling section, and that section should be headed by trained mental health professionals, because there are students who go to the university with psychological and issues, and if not detected, these students become problems at the university or wherever they will be. And at a certain time, when it's not treated well, they might go up. So there should be a place where they can go in and be assessed and also refer if it cannot be maintained or handled within the university cycle. Also,
Okay,
psychologists.
just a minute.
Let me
Just a
complete.
minute,
Let me
Mr. Dean.
conclude. Conti, please
Okay,
let me conclude. One minute. Let me
okay.
conclude. Also, the work in government institution and on policy, helping to set up policy that government can use to help individuals or our society in crafting laws that can benefit individuals. So overall, psychologists can work in wide range of different professional areas across our country. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Tonight I'm playing dual roles. I'm serving as a host, a moderator, and also one of the panelists. So if you are just joining us, if you are just following this live broadcast, once again, there is a real live talk show. And tonight again is a continuation of our topic on career pathway. This is where we're going to look at career. We're also going to consider those factors that one should consider in selecting or dedicating oneself to a particular career. And we also hope to look at some key aspects of various career pathway and how it can be used to solve practical life problems today identify in our society. Now that we have listened to Mr. Andrew Dean, who is from the background of sociology and that of psychology, we will just take a moment, few minutes, to continue discussion on the field of environmental science or the F sciences. So environmental science as a field of study is a branch or one of the important branches of the F sciences that is concerned about the protection of the environment. So when you hear about aquatic pollution, atmospheric pollution, biodegradation, degradation of the environment, this is where environmental science comes in. The goal of environmental science is to bridge consumption between the current generation and that of the future generation. And this is where the word or description comes in referred to as sustainability. The goal of environmental science is sustainability, building a bridge between the current generation and that of the future generation. So, what's the importance of studying environmental science? As the name implies, studying environmental science is very important, even if we choose to disregard the issue of job opportunity that it affords. Studying environmental science, the first and foremost thing is that it provides one the the awareness of his or her environment. As you may be aware, the environment is considered as the home to humans and all other species. So, human being the most sophisticated animal created by God, we are under obligation to protect, preserve, and prevent our environment from anything that will cause harm or degradation to us. Because whatever affect the environment also affect us. And our actions and inaction, one way or the other, has a way of negatively or positively affecting the environment. The good thing is that most environmental problems today that are that are that we see or we feel within our surrounding are caused by humans. And again, humans are the most sophisticated species that are capable of remedializing or finding solutions to this problem. So, what are some of the opportunities? Studying environmental science. What are those opportunities that it affords an individual? Number one, like I said, awareness of the environment. Two, it provides one job opportunity, occupational opportunities like environmental engineer. You can be hired by an engineering company uh, or a firm to serve as an environmental consultant for a project. Let's take, for example, we have variety of soils, and some of these soils are capable of withstanding large structure, and some do not have the capability. So it becomes the responsibility of the environmental engineer to carry on evaluation of the soil to find out as to whether the soil here where a building or a particular project is about to take place is competent enough to withstand the pressure following the completion of the project. Studying environmental science also affords one the opportunity to serve as an environmental impact assessment specialist. Usually, before a project is taken, whether it is a mining company, whether it is any other industrial activities, an environmentalist is usually hired to carry on an environmental impact assessment to provide information about the feasibility of that particular project that is to be taken or that is about to be taken, to also provide the possible environmental issues that will come as an outcome after the execution of the project or the implementation of the project. This put the EPA in a better position to ensure environmental compliance on companies that operate in our environment. The mining company like Beer Mountain, ArcelorMittal, all of these companies, before the execution of their project, they all provided an environmental impact assessment. And that job was done by an environmentalist. And you can be paid a very handsome amount for that. So there are several opportunities. Because of time, I'm going to pause here as we go on. Probably some of those opportunities will be revealed in the soonest possible time. So let's go back to Mr. Andrew Dean, who is well seated, uh, to hear from him. We listen to you. You talk about various opportunities, job opportunities that can be afforded an individual specializing in sociology and that of psychology. Can we go back to the question I initially asked? We have so many psychological issues today in our country, so many sociological issues. Can we identify or have you identified some? And can you explain to our audience, considering your background, what are some of the approaches that we can use to address these societal issues?
Well, like I said, Mr. Conti, I'm going to be biased enough that I'm going to focus on psychology issues tonight.
Oh,
So,
okay, okay,
yeah, please permit me to be biased. Um,
okay.
and I want to really focus on getting audience to understand the kind of career, since we're focusing on career, the kind of career they can have from uh, psychology. So please permit me to use that biases. Okay, so back to the question that we're addressing in this manner. As I was saying just before, Mr. Gondi had to also talk about, because it's diverse career we're looking at.
Okay.
Uh, Students, individuals who decide to go into this field, we have the opportunity to address a wide range of mental health problems facing our country. Um, Liberia suffered a 14 year civil crisis with approximately 250,000 individuals killed in during the war, Liberians, leaving a traumatic uh, uh, phase for Liberia for so many decades, right? And shortly
Okay.
after
Yeah.
that, we also faced the Ebola. I can recall,
Okay.
families who were completely wiped out. I mean, entire family wiped out by the Ebola virus, leaving sometimes one person or two, or just a family member behind. You can imagine the trauma that person lives with for the rest of their lives, right? It's a trauma that you can't even begin to explain. And we did not even go a decade. I mean, Ebola
Okay.
was in 2014, and in 2019, that's just another 4 to 5 years later, 5 to 6 years later, and
Yeah.
we
COVID.
and we experienced COVID, another
Yeah.
devastating pandemic that took over the entire world, causing tremendous pain. And so you see, like Liberia, issue has been since the Civil War, Ebola, COVID-19, and currently in our country, the most deadly one. In fact, it was even declared epidemic as per Joseph Boyka, our President Boyka, statement that the
Okay.
drugs issued in our country. That's another thing that has been affecting our entire country. All aspect, you have some family members somewhere facing some drugs related issues. Now, with all of these things, you can understand our society have had to struggle with its mental health. Imagine people watching their family members being killed, the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine someone looking at someone raping their wives, killing their children in front of them. So we have had these long years of traumatic experience by family members and all like that, coping with the current substance use. It shows that Liberians has been on the edge as it relates to their mental health. And the reflection from that is being seen, like you said. You see so many people, and mental health is not just seeing people who's out there. People who dress up well face mental health issues. And because we don't talk about these things a lot, we have so many people who are working with psychological distress, be it anxiety, be it depression, be it personality disorder, be it so many things they have. They are all passing all around. They're working, not addressing these issues until they are completely broken down. With trained mental health professionals in our country through the Department of Psychology at the University of Liberia and getting the opportunity to get advanced education, we can shine more light on these psychological issues that our country face. We can have a proper plan, like the Ministry of Health have been doing through the mental health unit, to ensure that individuals, even though the focus has been on the substance use, and GFT has been focusing on all the other mental illnesses through the Grand Hospital, but there will be more light shine. Remember, the more individuals we have going into the field, the more light we got shining on it. So when we have this number of people coming in, we can talk about it more awareness, more conversation around it, more light being shone on it. And then the stigma of people not wanting to come out because they see mental health as this quote unquote people in the community or people in society see me as quote unquote crazy person. We can eradicate that kind of notion or those kind of thinking from in our country and focus on the real issues people suffering from mental illnesses, be it on a mild level all the way to a severe level. We can shine a light on it. And uh, to my audience listening, or to somebody who might be facing, I'm here to tell you that hope is near. The University of Liberia have established a department to look into this thing, start to train mental health professionals who can have the the requisite qualification and competency to deal with all of the mental health issues that we face in our country.
Thank you very much. But this actually for fun. I think you have to pay some money to do more advertisement on your department here. Yeah, you keep selling your
Like I
department.
said, I was going to be biased tonight. I'm being extremely
Okay, okay,
biased, but yeah.
okay. All right. The next talking point, that was something actually that we talked about during our last discussion, but for the well-being and the good of our program, especially for our just viewers, those that are just joining us today the first time. I would like you to show a little light about those factors that one should consider in deciding a career. And this time around, I've outlined few talking points from your last presentation that I will just list them, and then you can talk about them in detail. One has to do with individual self realization, passion, skill. Yeah, passion. So let's just focus our attention on these key points: self realization, passion, and skill.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Golden. So, that thank you. I'm going to just focus now on career as we talk about. So the last time there were major points that I kind of put out there,
Yeah,
and uh, I wanted individuals to know in selecting career that you want to do. There are a lot of things you should put into consideration. I mean, obviously, the one thing that we all look at in selecting a career in Liberia, unfortunately, is the opportunity that is available. I think as part of my presentation, I told you, you see, a lot of people say I'm running to become a nurse because I'm going to get a job quick, get something doing while I chase my
yeah,
passion.
yeah,
You see
yeah.
people running to
So
nursing school and all like that. I think that was one of my examples
yeah, yeah,
because a lot of people think about the paycheck that is available right now, then the long-term career, something that you're going to do to love, something that you want to get involved in all through the rest of your life. So
yeah.
the
But
first thing,
I want us to get something straight here. Can you divorce job from career? Because the last time I checked, career encompasses uh one dedication to a particular thing over a long period of time that include one job, passion, uh, and you can go and name the rest. So job is a component of career. I stand to be corrected.
it is,
Okay.
but this is this distinction I want you to get in my audience to get the last time as part of the show. So okay, so for example, right,
Yeah, yeah.
uh there is a job title that is clinical psychology. That's the job title, right?
Okay.
And a career can be a mental health professional. That's my career. So over time, the number of jobs that I do in that sector gives me a career, a long term. So I had a
So
career in the mental health profession. But a job title would be a clinical psychologist. That is a job title. Now,
okay.
remember, like we said, somebody who's aspiring to become, say, for example, a lawyer, and that person don't have uh, financial strength at the moment, and they say, okay, so until I can get the financial strength to probably go through the proper channel to become a lawyer, in the meantime, I'm going to be a social worker. That is a job. It's also a profession, but a job. A social worker is a job title and also a professional field. So they become a social worker because they're probably good at talking to people and providing services for society. They become a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
However, they use that paycheck to get a career as a lawyer because that is where they have the desire to be. So you could get a job that take you to a career, and that job, unfortunately, could also become a career for you. So there are people who tell you that I wanted to become this, I wanted to become this, but since the opportunity was not provided, I took a job, and over time doing the job, I just stay in that career. However, the disadvantage of those things is that you see that the passion is lacking, and that's one of
Okay.
the things you see in a career. The passion is lacking. So somebody
Okay.
who do the social work, they're just trying to get a paycheck. That's not what they
Okay.
love. That's not what they desire to do. That's not what they envision themselves to do. But they get in the paycheck, so they go from time to time. And that's how we see the mistakes from in. I'm not to take away anybody, not to take away because I'm also a medical professional. Not to take away, but sometimes that's how you see mistakes in these fields because the individual passion is not in it. They're just doing it to get a paycheck. So that's one of the key big difference in doing something that you love, passionate about for years to come and years in, years out, and just doing something to get a paycheck, just to get back. So in
Okay.
selecting a career,
Uh-huh. Yes, go ahead. Proceed.
one of the things I wanted my audience to know is self awareness.
Okay.
Now, as a person, you understand what you love. That's number one coming up. Now, I know we all had this kindergarten thing and elementary thing. I want to become a doctor, but over time you evolve because uh, you are not self-aware at that time.
Okay.
Somebody who's around 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, you can say, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a doctor. Yeah. But over time, you understand that, like, I one of the person who wanted to become a doctor, but I'm afraid of the sight of blood. It's something
Okay.
people who know me to tell you I'm afraid. How can I be a medical doctor when but I was coming up, so I was not self-aware. So I want to be a doctor. I want to, and I want to be a medical doctor, but that's not my thing, right? That
Okay.
was not my thing because knowing myself, knowing that I'm afraid of trauma. I can't stand the sight of trauma. Sometimes I just seeing somebody brutally hit or blunt, the blunt force to the head and all those things that doctor would do. I can't deal with it. I don't know what to do with it. So
Yeah.
I understood that is becoming self-aware that this is not my place. So self-awareness, like I said in our last conversation, is one of the things to make it to select a career. Understanding this is who I am. This is my passion. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
love to do. You see some people, they tell you, I'm able to understand. I understand people when people speak. I understand what they're saying. I understand I'm able to read cues and all like that, right? That's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that is an instinct that comes naturally. They don't have to go to school for those things. They got them naturally. There are people who are good in detecting when people lying and people trying to be shady, shady. They kind of understand it and all like that. Those things are instant. They come naturally, so they become self-aware. So
Okay.
in selecting a career, that is one thing I want you to do. That's self-awareness. Where do I
Yeah.
fit? My
What
my
do I say?
passion. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I
Passion.
desire? What can I
Yeah.
do naturally without anything? I feel connected to it. That become a critical part of selecting a career. The next thing we talk
Okay.
about was the passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can have an instant for thing and you still don't like it. You don't see the need to drive towards
So.
it, to wake up every morning chasing it, to wake up every morning trying to pursue it. You don't have that desire. And that desire is what we refer to as the passion. Waking up every morning and thinking about it. I tell you, doctors, I got a brother who want to become a doctor, and the only thing he want to do all his life is become a doctor. He thinks about it, he dreams about it, he chases after it and all like that. That is his passion. So it becomes a part of it. Mr. Gonti, you are coming in. I think you have your
Yeah.
feedback.
Sorry. Sorry for the distraction. Sorry.
Okay, so you are muted now. So as I was saying, so that passion is there. They have the desire to want to go to it. Now, uh, over my time in having conversation with individual guiding, mentoring, or students and all like that, I noticed that passion sometimes creates. self-awareness. Passion have the desire to create self-awareness. When you become passionate about something, you notice that, okay, this thing is something that I like. Not just the passion, but I like it. So you see, self-awareness and passion, you can remove them in selecting a career. So if you are out there and you are listening to me today and you want to make a decision, maybe about to enter the University of Liberia, maybe about to start a career that you want to do, first, do you have passion? Are you self-aware about this profession that you want to get in? What it takes, what it entails, what it entails. What do I have to do? What am I going to practice for the rest of my life? Do I like it? Do I like doing this? So for me, as a clinical psychologist, what do I do for the rest of my life? Do I like doing it? Am I good at it? As much as I want to do it, am I good at it? Or am I going to impact my generation or society by doing this? These are critical questions to ask. But like we said, there's always a balance because these things are always good to look at, but then individuals too are also looking at the current economic situation and say, look, let me go for the paycheck now before my career. So that's one of the things we have been battling. We want to bring, we want to share light on this so society understand that even though you
Yeah.
might be looking for the paycheck, also try to chase what you mostly desire and what you are self-aware in becoming in the very long run.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that brilliant contribution. And you see, this is something that we should actually take longer time to talk about when it comes to self-awareness or self-realization and passion as it relates to deciding a career. That's something very important. You stressed a very important point the other day with reference to students who were influx of students that were directed towards the geology department several years ago because it was announced that Liberia had several minerals. There was discovery of minerals, and we have several companies coming to carry on mining activity. At a certain point in time, we saw the influx of students, everyone wanting to do geology. And in subsequent time, we saw many of them switching from that department to another department. One thing that they didn't realize before taking that decision, which I believe their decision was largely driven by peer pressure, they didn't consider self awareness to know who they really are, their ability, their passion. Because it's important to know exactly who you are, your natural ability. There are some people, uh, they are just good at the mathematics, they are good at the chemistry, some are good at the arts, and some are good at various subjects. So it's important to have that awareness of yourself. What am I good at? What do I have pleasure? What do I have passion? Why is that particular thing usually when I'm doing, I feel myself very passionate doing? Yeah. Answering all of these questions will help you to direct you along or to a particular pathway where you'll find yourself over a period of time growing, advancing, and withstanding the challenges that will come your way. In the absence of these things, you may take a decision tomorrow, and due to the lack of passion and due to the lack of certain skills that are required for that particular field, you might end up giving up or switching to another way. So it's not just about the attractive salary that comes with the career, but once you also consider self-awareness, their passion, and their skill. Having said so, our audience, our people are all listening. We have students in grade school, some are about to wear WAS, and some have just graduated and thinking about writing a university entrance to pursue or begin their career pathway. So, as an expert within the area of sociology and that of psychology. What are some of those subjects that you think a student knowing within themselves they should be very good at? What are some of those subjects that you can suggest or recommend to our students that they should take very serious if they desire to do the psychology or the sociology, or what are those subjects they should be good at before pursuing this pathway?
Okay, so you know, it's as simple as A, B, and C, and I'm glad that some of the schools in Liberia now have two pathways, and that's very good. Uh, Even though all of the schools don't have it for now, but uh, there are schools who have the science pathways and the art pathways. So it's important to note that psychology is both science and art. They have fit in both areas. Clinical psychology is solid science. It's like pure science. Why psychology is art. So you have places in both areas. So somebody who's opting to be a clinical psychologist like me should at least not chemistry, not physics, but most especially biology, and not just any biology, but the anatomy of the brain specifically. Anatomy of the body, you can also look at that, the anatomy structure, but mostly biology. And when you reach the anatomy structure of the body, focus on the brain. In biology, neuroscience, focus on that because the entire psychology has to do with what the brain you studied intensively on the brain. So anything relating to neuro in biology, focus on the anatomic structure of the brain, focus on it because that's what you're going to be doing. On the opposite side, like sociology, somebody who wants to go there should be good at your art subject because that's what you're going to be dealing with: English, literature, history, geographic. Those act course subjects in school. That's what you're going to focus on a lot because sociology is not a hard science. Like you don't have to be good at physics, mathematics, chemistry to do sociology. You don't have to be. Once you ground it in the acts, you can now do it because it's that easy. And I'm glad that we have these pathways in the high school now, giving student the opportunity to be able to understand. So student deciding to go in psychology and sociology and most of the social sciences and humanity courses should be very good at the art or subjects in school. So you're talking about history, you're talking about literature, you're talking about English, you're talking about economics. Those uh, uh, social sciences subjects you should be very grounded in it. Or like you say, the art subject you should be very grounded in it.
All right, so for our viewers, if you are listening, especially for our students still in grade school, probably you have just graduated from high school and thinking about deciding a particular pathway. For those of you who are very good at the arts, uh, you are recommended to the Department of Sociology at the University of Liberia or whatever university. And according to Mr. Dean, if you desire to do sociology and psychology, you must firstly self-examine yourself as to whether you are good at the arts that include history, uh, history. You can go and name all of the art courses or the art subjects. And for psychology, instead, there is a combination of both art and the sciences. You should be good at the biology a bit, I think a bit, chemistry or physics, whatever. For biology, most preferably. So that is it. And for the area of the earth sciences that include geology, environmental science, metallurgy, mining, it is advisable as a student who is still in grade school or who have just graduated from high school, you should firstly examine yourself. What am I good at? And if you are good at the sciences, specifically chemistry, physics, mathematics, then you are in the right place. You can pursue geology, you can pursue environmental science, environmental engineering, environmental chemistry. These subjects are going to put you in a better position to adequately withstand those pressures or challenges that will come with the field relating to the earth sciences. So, environmental science encompasses the chemistry, the physics, mathematics, and so forth. Because within the environmental science, you have disciplines such as environmental chemistry, those that are purely concentrated within the analysis of biochemical processes that occur within the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, to understand how human activities affect these various spheres. That's the area of environmental chemistry. And to do justice to yourself, you should have some skills within the chemistry, within the physics as well. Because all of these courses or all of these subjects, all of these field of study within the earth sciences do not work in isolation. They all combine the physics, the chemistry, the mathematics to identify problems within the environment and find solution to them. Okay. Having said so, I want us to I want us to look at growth, growth within career, assuming that you have started, because from your introduction, you said career encompasses the job that you do over time, your experiences, the various training that you attend, or those knowledge that you acquire within your working place or working places. Uh, so I want us to look at growth. I want us to look at advancement within our respective career. And from research, I understood that there are basically two types of growth. You have the lateral and you have the vertical growth. Mr. Andrew Dean, I just hope that you can join us. Yeah, so from research, basically we have two types of uh, career growth, and these types of growth include one, lateral growth and vertical growth. When we speak of vertical growth, we are specifically referring to growth upward. For example, you pursue your first post-high school education, you got an Associate of Art degree. And then over time, you decided to go again to pursue another degree, harder degree. From an Associate of Art degree, you went upward or you advanced upward to bachelor's degree. That is what vertical growth. From bachelor's degree to master's degree, that is also what vertical growth. From master's degree to PhD, all of these are considered to be what vertical growth. There are some growth that probably may not move from one lower academic degree to the other, but may include training. may include knowledge that is gained over time through job experience. Even though you still maintain the same job, but over time, you went through several cycles of training. And through these trainings, you are able to grow. While it's true that you are within that same job position, you are within that same level, but over time, you have increased in knowledge through training, through workshop. So such growth we refer to it as what? Lateral growth. Assuming you were appointed, as a lecturer at the University of Liberia. And there as a lecturer, teaching, for example, environmental chemistry. And then over time, your chairman conducted a workshop teaching you about various ethics of teaching, classroom management, and so forth. All of these training, when combined, are intended to improve you, are intended for your professional growth. For such growth, we refer to it as what? Lateral growth. But in a case you are in a department, probably you started with a master's degree. And then over time, the president of the university decided to give you an opportunity to pursue higher degree, PhD. Upon receiving such degree, we refer to such growth as well, vertical growth. So you may be assigned in a particular area you are working and you don't have the opportunity to grow vertically. It's always important that you humble yourself, uh, interact and connect with professionals within your area, learn from them. Humble yourself, learn from them. And then over time, you may occupy the same position, but you are going to do better on the job because of various trainings and mentorship that you have received while occupying that particular job. And this is where preferment comes about. Many a time you apply for an NGO job. Yeah. People are interested in your experience, how long you have worked within that area. What are some of the workshops? What are some of the training that you have received? And those certificates, once submitted, sometimes can serve as an advantage for your preferment on that job. Because employers are of the belief that the longer time that you stay within a particular job, through mentorship, experience, you are able to improve. So hiring you for a particular job within your entity, they believe with your experience, with your training over time, you are going to perform better. So as advanceable students, usually our expectations are high upon graduation from high school, from university. We are so anxious. Uh, we sometimes set benchmark for ourselves. I cannot work for less than 1,000 USD. I cannot work for less than 2,000 USD. Sometimes it's important that you take the little one that is available, avail yourself, humble yourself, and then over time, based on mentorship from professionals, your bosses, or those that you work with, over time you are going to improve. And through that, you could receive vertical growth. You could get a higher job from what you are doing currently. So it's important that sometimes you limit your expectation, focus more on your professional growth, whether the salary is attractive or not. And then over time, once you develop yourself while doing a job, through that job that could afford you another opportunity. And then over time, your CV is advancing, your CV is improving. And with an advanced CV, you could get a job. Sometimes that even people who are above you vertically in terms of education, you might get the job. You might get a job. You might get a job. Yeah. So if you are just joining us, this is the real life talk. We are facing some technical issues. Mr. Andrew Dean just left the line probably. He's trying to reconnect. And we are also hoping to reconnect with Mr. Paul Dominic Jerry. I don't know what is happening, but we just hope that we can rejoin with them. So we have been discussing career pathway, where we initially looked at the definition of career. What are those factors that one should consider in making a career choice? Um, we made mention of passion, self-awareness, and skills. Basically, these are three things that one should consider in making a decision about one's career. Your skill will enable you to withstand the pressure or the requirement that comes with a particular pathway that you want to go. Your passion. Sometimes you may have the skill, you may have the ability to do certain things, but the lack of passion, the lack of passion to do that particular thing, sometimes may lead to weakness, may lead to lack of interest. And with the skill, you may likely deviate or switch to another path. So all of these factors, self-awareness, passion, and lastly skill, these are three factors that are very important that one should consider in deciding his or her career. Um, then we also talk about those subjects, especially for students who are in high school. What are those subjects that one should consider their strength in making a decision? So if you intend to go the pathway of sociology, psychology, according to our panelists, you said you should be well grounded within the arts that include history, etc. So that is it. We want to appreciate you all for following our live broadcast. We hope to rejoin you next Sunday with a very fascinating topic. Yeah, with new faces as well. Thank you. And this is how we come to the end of today's broadcast. Once again, this is the Real Life Talk. We are here this and every Sunday from 8 to 10 p.m. God bless you. Have yourself a wonderful day.